Can Assassin's Creed Shadows save Ubisoft? Well, seems like they're already planning big changes behind the scenes. We got a God of War Ragnarok update dropping this coming week, pretty cool one. And the future Xbox hardware strategy has also leaked, and way more gaming news to go over. So sit back and let's go. I want to start with an observation because it seems that April will be a pretty crazy month, especially for Xbox games coming to PlayStation. And I wonder what the strategy is here. So we already know about Forza Horizon 5 coming at the end of the month, but seems that Indiana Jones will be coming 2 weeks before that to PS5 on April 17th, with the premium edition with early access coming 2 days before that. Yeah, weird that it has not been announced yet, but that is not all. Also, the Oblivion Unreal Engine 5 remake could be releasing sooner than you think. And this remake should not only look much better, but also feature a less frustrating stamina system, better block improvements, HUD changes, hit reactions to improve the response to damage, and also archery improvements. And yes, that sooner than you think is April, by the way. A potential shadow drop might be in the cards. Is Xbox going to do another direct style presentation to talk about all these releases? Because South of Midnight is also dropping in April. They will basically have a new launch every week. Why not give Indiana Jones on PS5 a better spot with a bigger spotlight? Like we all know, the game is great. It has a high Metacritic. Why drop the Oblivion remake and Forza Horizon on top of it? Also, with this strategy, they will have 3 big Game Pass titles in April, because Expedition 33 is also one of them. Let me know if you will be picking up any of these titles. I myself will likely still be busy playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, but I might jump into the Days Gone Remastered for the $10 upgrade on April 25th. And I want to play Expedition 33 as well if it has good reviews, and then save Indiana Jones and the Oblivion remake for later. Too many games! I cannot see them all doing well for Microsoft. A game that has to do very well is Assassin's Creed Shadows. This coming week the game finally releases after 2 delays, and the reception and sales could alter Ubisoft's future. Because really, if you think about it, they have not had a big hit since Assassin's Creed Valhalla more than 4 years ago. Now, Mirage did fine for the budget, but all the other titles like Outlaws, Avatar, X-Defiant, The Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Mario plus Rabbids, the second game, Skull and Bones, Assassin's Creed Nexus, Roller Champions, Rainbow Six Extraction, Riders Republic, and even Far Cry 6 to a certain degree, all underperformed. And this caused their stock to go down by more than 75% in the last 5 years. And it seems like an impossible task for Shadows to offset the losses of all these other projects. And Ubisoft seems to know that as well, because behind the scenes, they're already working on a future plan. This week we learned they seemingly had discussions about IP sales with Microsoft, EA and others, and this according to financial market platform Merger Market. And Bloomberg reported that Ubisoft is laying the groundwork for a new company unit focused on the most valuable series, including Assassin's Creed. So they are seemingly transferring their biggest franchises, next to Assassin's Creed probably Rainbow Six, maybe Far Cry, Ghost Recon, to this new entity, while the current Ubisoft will be left with the less popular IPs. And they are apparently looking for bids for a minority stake in this new venture to be made by as soon as the end of the month, and the valuation should be higher than the €13 that Ubisoft is worth right now. But yeah, it seems like an obvious way forward. Every big gaming company is doing that right now. Focus and invest in just a handful of your sure bets and your biggest franchises, and don't really bother with the rest. Like, there are a ton of games coming out, live service titles, but also big TV shows, movies, everything is asking for people's attention, so you really have to come with your best stuff that people are really looking forward to, otherwise it just will not matter anymore. Right now Ubisoft has too many employees working on projects that will likely never make a profit. Like Beyond Good and Evil 2 already cost hundreds of millions. How is that going to make its money back? How many copies do they need to sell of that? I think it's fascinating to speculate what IPs EA or Microsoft might be interested in. Maybe Just Dance is high on the list as a pretty unique casual game that keeps doing relatively well. I can see a world where Ubisoft sells Ubisoft Massive with the Division IP. Maybe someone is interested in that. There are clearly talented people there, even though Avatar and Outlaws of course did not do well. But yeah, then you got the Snowdrop engine that they are working on, and the new Far Cry is on that too, so it is way more complicated of course. They got the Splinter Cell remake coming as well, although I could see Splinter Cell totally being something that someone wants to buy, maybe Microsoft. Now, is someone going to buy Watch Dogs? Probably not. Like, it will be way too expensive to make a new one and not that high of a chance that it will do well. Maybe someone wants Rayman or the Rabbids. Prince of Persia has potential. Let me know if you have some ideas for companies buying Ubisoft IP. I think it's fascinating. Want to go more in depth on it during the Monday stream on my React channel. A link to that will be in the video description. Would be awesome if you could join. And yes, I will have a short what's happening with Shadows coming up. And way more gaming news. So of course, if you like these videos, would be awesome if you could leave a like. So thanks for that, and subscribe, because we post one of these big gaming news roundup videos every Sunday. Now time for quick shots, the news stories I will go over quickly. God of War Ragnarok is getting an update this week as part of the 20th anniversary, and it will feature the Dark Odyssey skin for Kratos, and is based on the skin that you would unlock in God of War 2 after beating the game on the God mode difficulty. And it looks pretty damn awesome on Kratos. It's also an armor set, so I'm curious if it has a new perk as well. You also have the Dark Odyssey outfit for Freya and Atreus. There will even be new weapon appearances for all 3 weapons, but you unlock this after fully upgrading the weapons. So that's a requirement for using these awesome looks. There are also these gold and black Dark Odyssey looks for all the 6 shields and a Dark Odyssey rod. And they will also add a way to edit the appearances, so basically do a transmog option for the weapon attachments and the shield runs, which is kinda awesome. So yes, the update goes live on March 20th. Totally expect more coverage here on the channel. Focus announced that the development for Warhammer 40k Space Marine 3 has begun, and that's not a surprise because the second game sold 4.5 million units in 1 month, making it a big profit generator for everyone involved. Like, Focus had some big launches in the last few years with the second Plague Tale, Atlas Fallen, Banisher's Ghost of New Eden, but they all did not hit as big as this Warhammer game. So it makes sense that they want to invest more into it. Congrats to everyone involved, and let's see if they can build on this success with the third game in 2028 or 2029. That seems to be realistic. We got a bit more details on Intergalactic, the new IP from Naughty Dog. A big one is that there will not be a companion for our protagonist Jordan. So they want us to feel lonely in this game's universe, and if you think about it, that's actually kind of big. Looking at The Last of Us, before that they made Uncharted, and even Jak and Daxter. Now, I in particular loved how switching companions for the particular missions brought completely different dynamics to The Last of Us Part 2, but I'm totally down for a twist in Intergalactic. The story should also be less handholdy, with Monkey Island and Half-Life 2 mentioned as inspiration, but it is still ways off before it releases. This sounds like an end of 2027, 2028 situation to me, which is damn. The cancellation of The Last of Us Online really made it so that we will only see one Naughty Dog game this generation. Next to all the remasters, of course, with The Last of Us Part 2 coming to PC around the launch of the second season that I'm really looking forward to. Let me know your hype level for Intergalactic in the comments. So People Can Fly, the developers most famously behind Outriders, Bulletstorm and Gears of War Judgment, have entered an agreement for a new game prototype based on a Sony IP called Project Delta. Now, they also had such an agreement with Microsoft, but this ended up being as a co-dev studio on Gears of War E-Day. So it's unclear if they are the main developers on this new game based on the Sony IP or just helping. And by the way, Project Delta sounds like a military thing, maybe SOCOM related. Although it is worth noting, if we look at their Wikipedia page, that they also have a Project Echo in development. So it might be just their way of naming things. But yeah, what Sony IP do you hope the Outriders team is working on? Let me know in the comments. Moving on to the rumor roundup, where we go over the biggest leaks and rumors of the week and I give stars. With 3 being, I believe it, and 1 being, let's take this with a huge grain of salt. So future Xbox hardware plans have leaked, and it's pretty interesting. Seems like they are, for one, targeting a 2027 window for the new Xbox, the successor to the Xbox Series X. And this might be 1 year before the PlayStation 6, because Sony is believed to launch their console in 2028. And that 1 year head start did help Microsoft during the 360 era, although times have of course changed. But it should still shake things up, because they're seemingly also going for a PC in a TV-friendly shell. So while the focus will totally be on Game Pass and the Microsoft Store, there might be the possibility that your PC library through Steam could work on this as well, which would of course be huge. But next to the successor of the Series X, they seemingly also plan their own in-house developed handheld console. So a true Xbox handheld, although how expensive is that going to be if it can play the games from this next-gen Xbox too? So it sounds cool on paper, but I'm curious how powerful this machine will be. But again, this seems to be 2027, although this year we should still see a portable Xbox, but made by Asus, codenamed Project Cannon. Although, just like the ROG Ally from Asus, this seems to be mostly Windows based, so it's unclear if the games you own on Xbox but not on PC will work on this. But yeah, it seems to include an Xbox UI, and I would imagine more changes versus the ROG. I'm overall going to give this 2 stars. Tom Warren from The Verge and Jez Gordon from Windows Central are reporting on this. They have great track records. But things can of course change, especially because 2027 is still far away. But this does all sound like a logical step for Microsoft in their attempt to basically unify the Windows and Xbox store and having a console a year before PlayStation that lets you play your Steam library. So maybe even PlayStation games. Like, that would of course be wild. Of course, your takes are more than welcome in the comments down below. Yes, this coming week we finally see the launch of Assassin's Creed Shadows. I got my spoiler-free review dropping on March 18th. We'll also be streaming open world exploration on that date as well on YouTube, but also on Twitch, and there you can get Twitch drops. A link to my Twitch will be in the video description, so you can already check that out and get a notification when I go live. Then on Wednesday, Fragnard will join me again for our weekly Assassin's Creed show, where we answer all your spoiler-free questions about Shadows, and there will be more streams with on Thursday the return of a weekly very exciting Assassin's Creed stream. If you know, you know. I can't wait to start the coverage and for you to finally jump into the game as well if you're gonna buy it. But of course, these gaming news roundup videos will continue with next week on Sunday another one for you. Just subscribe if you haven't already to not miss anything. A like on the video would really help me out, and check out my final preview on Shadows by clicking on the screen with a ton of new info for if you haven't watched it yet. I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.